All right, this is the Gemmi Industries Douglas fur. I'm going to show you what happens if you have this problem.
Hi, I'm Douglas fur.
And the eyes aren't opening. What you want to do is take all the screws out of this. Now the eyelids are, I believe, ultrasonic welded or glued to a dry shaft. So you can't open this up all the way. You'd have to heat up that where it connects to that drive shaft. So luckily we can fix it without opening it all the way. Crack it open, don't open it all the way. And there's a stop. You're gonna get to open these eyelids past that stop. And there's a little hole there, and that's where this other piece of this spring goes. So now it works again.
Hi, I'm Douglas fur.
So you can see him blink. So the mouth is having the same problem. And it's going to be the same fix. I believe it's the same motor mechanism. All right, so I don't want to open this whole thing up to show this, but basically when you open this up, you have a motor here, just a regular DC motor that spins, and it only goes one direction. And I don't understand if there's a slipper disc in there somewhere that I don't really know how it works, but when it shuts power off, this has a return spring. That's how it closes the eyes. So it's not like an H-bridge. There's only 2 wires going there. That makes sense because the lights for the eyes are also going here. So of course you could flip the polarity on those too, and they'd still light up. They're probably incandescent. But anyways, so yeah, that only goes one direction. And if you look in there, there's a another gear. And all they did was they took a screw, a Phillips screw, and they drilled it and shoved it in this gear. So it acts as a cam that opens the eyelids. And then there's a return spring that closes the eyelids. So as you can see, that one return spring is right there. It's one end of it. The other end is on that screw. And what happens is it just pops off and comes down here. So then it can't return and it gets stuck the other way. So if you relieve pressure on that case, open it up, kind of push the eyelids up the way they're supposed to go, it'll pop back into place on the other side of this return spring, and then it's good. When you take this out, mark up and down so you know which way it's supposed to open, because it will open try to open the other way too. I didn't take apart the mouth yet, but it has the same exact problem. These are cracked too. Actually not cracked, they're supposed to be like that, but they're a little bent. So 2 problems actually. In this motor, if you look at it this way, this shaft going through the motor, and then there's a gear, plastic gear goes on there. That thing kind of floats up and down, and it was on a different plane with the other gear that was like this. All right, so I had to push this down till this mated with that gear there. So maybe you could put a dab of glue on that. There was some grease in there too, real old grease. Other thing I want to do with this is it's so loud. There's 2 settings on here, low and high. It's kind of like high and higher.
Hi, I'm Douglas fur.
That's higher. Oh my gosh. It's so loud. So that's an 8 ohm speaker. So the only thing I'm going to do is put like, I don't know, 16 ohm, quarter watt. I should cut the power down, right? To make it a little bit quieter. It's just too much. There's also a little piezo there. I have no idea what that does. I think it's a sound active. I think it's a microphone, maybe. I don't know. If someone knows, let me know. And then there is a tube here, and I believe that is some kind of. I always thought that was a light sensor, like a motion sensor. But there's only 2 wires going to it. So yeah, what the heck is that? This thing is so freaking weird. Anyways, the way you get this off, there's 2 zip ties that tie this main plastic. The tree doesn't come off, it's stuck in this base. And this thing just goes on there, and then there's a zip tie here and there. You cut those zip ties. The upper mouth, so this is the bottom mouth, right? So this opens and closes. I'm sorry for the bad video, but I gotta document this because someone needs to document this thing. It's a classic. The mouth is just made up of all these intertwined together, the upper mouth. And I don't really remember how it's gonna be some work putting this back together, but you kind of like twine this in, and then it makes the shape. Basically, it's the shape of this bottom mouth. You're gonna make it on the top and make it a little bit bigger, so it has a little bit of an underbite. And then the rest of these leaves just push out. And there's a lot of leaves. And you can see here's all the main wires coming up to that main connection thing. This is more just a structural. Is that metal? No, it's plastic. But yeah, other thing is, I have no idea how this thing works. This is like some Christmas magic in here. Look at this. Just transistors and caps. Look at that. There's nothing else in here. How does it make this? Where's the sound recorded to? So the only other thing is there could be an IC right here. There's definitely some epoxy. Blue. Oh, okay, I can see it. I can see it better now. So definitely the IC. It's a black dot IC, and it's a little bit see-through. You can see it. But look, there's only 7 pins going to there. It's doing all this timing, and or maybe the timing's done on some kind of RC circuit. All the caps look good too, all the electrolytics. But this thing, this is freaking cool. Definitely mass produced. This says Gemmi Industries Corporation 1996. Patents and or patents pending in USA, UK, Germany, China, and Taiwan. Made in China. Look how rough this machining mark is for the injection mold. That's pretty cool. That tells me they just really rushed through this. That, or they had this thing in like some huge like 100 cavity mold, and they're just punching these things out. That's pretty wild. You can see all the ejector pin marks. They're all over the place. So they were probably popping these things out like 1,000 at a time. And then we just have our, this has an aux input too, which is kind of cool. I guess you can play music on it, which, man, you might as well with this freaking Bose setup. It almost looks like a tuned cavity for this. It's definitely way too loud. I might have to try to play some Bluetooth through it. I wonder, is it supposed to be you put music in there and then it's gonna sing to the music? That's crazy, man. Yeah, this thing is pretty cool. Very wild. 0.5 watts. Wow. And while we're at it, might as well, in case you're missing one, look at this power supply here. I think it's 5 volts. Hold on here. Output 6 volts DC, 600 milliamps. 500 milliamps. So 5 volts, 500 milliamps. But yeah. All right. Well, I'm excited to fix the mouth for this just in time for Christmas. And luckily, nothing broke in them. I thought I was gonna have to rebuild this or 3D print it. Just 2 more zip ties and put it back together. It's pretty cool. Also, to get this mouth off, there's 2 screws you can take out that hold on this thing, which has the holes, which goes to this return spring. You can see where they glued it in. It just fell out, but dang it. Yeah. This glue they used is pretty impressive. It's like hot glue, but really sticky to hold this stuff on. Also, I think I figured out what this is. I think this is a microphone, and then the piezo outputs a certain high frequency, and then this acts as a motion sensor on that when it's not picking up that frequency, something like that. So on the motor, what I'm having problems with is this gear. Sorry, on the mouth, this gear is moving in and out.
Hi, I'm Douglas Hare.
Check out that grease. Looks like a Lucas Oil commercial.
Hi, I'm Douglas Hare.
Crazy. But I'm not sure. I'll have to just put some JB Weld on there. Try to stake that in place. Because I think that's what's failing there.
Hi, I'm Douglas Hare.
Alright, this is how I'm fixing this. I stacked a bunch of these 2 by 5mm washers underneath this thing until it came up to the proper height to hit this wheel. And I stacked washers on top of here, but then I realized this is lower than this, so they're not going to stay on there. They're just going to fall off. So I'm going to put a dab of glue, Loctite 5-minute epoxy there, and hopefully that'll hold it on. All right, did the DevCon 5-minute, and just enough to cover the top. I use this little file here, kind of scratch up the axle, the shaft, and just make sure you don't get any on the gear face itself. And that should hold it.
Have a tremendous holiday.
Eyes are still getting hung up a little bit, but everything works now.
Hey, do you know what time it is? It's Christmas time. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open.
I got to reshape the mouth a little bit too. And I zip tied the microphone right there. Put the zip tie back there and one up there. Apparently they sell these new on Amazon, so I don't know why I bought this on eBay. Vintage, new in the box. But they're like $100 on Amazon too.